and as evening approached, they'd leach out what little body heat he had. With no heavy jacket to protect him, it would leave him vulnerable to the cold night ahead. After 2 steps, the shallow incline disappeared into a steep drop-off, plunging him thigh-deep into water so cold he couldn't even breathe. Numbness seized his legs, freezing out all feeling. The still air all around him seeming only to heighten the intensity of the icy chill. Carefully testing the footing, he began wading forward. He felt his chest contract as the icy water rode up his ribcage, and he opened his mouth repeatedly, as if trying to bite off chunks of the cold air to gulp down into his lungs. Part of him had hoped he would not see her face, but as she drifted round towards him, he could not bring himself to look away. She stared back at him through cold, dead eyes, her face so bloated and battered it was almost unrecognisable. He had not seen many smiles from Annie Pryor, amid the firm set of her jaw, her intense concentration, her determined expressions. But those few that had come his way had been worth waiting for. Face-brightening moments of unfettered joy. She should have let herself smile more often, he thought. He stretched out his arm across the glassy surface, and his fingertips touched the rough Gore-Tex material of Annie's jacket. He tugged at it, and the body began to drift gently in his direction. He felt in the pocket of the jacket to retrieve Annie's in-reach device and clicked it off. Then he removed the battery and threw both parts of the unit into the fast-flowing waters beyond the eddy. He reached out once again and pushed Annie's head under the water, forcing the body down against its natural buoyancy until it snagged on a submerged log. His grisly task completed, he was in the process of turning away when the body broke free and burst up beside him in the water. He recoiled from the grotesque mask of discoloured flesh with its dead, unseeing eyes, sputtering and gasping furiously as he splashed back into the frigid water. Recovering, he approached the body and tried again, pinning it beneath the log and securing it firmly. He paused for a moment, in case the body broke free and once more floated to the surface, but this time it held fast, and he backed away carefully until he reached the shore. He emerged from the water, shivering violently. He pulled on his clothes as fast as his numb hands would permit, hugging his thick, lined sweater around him tightly when he had finished. As he stepped into his boots, he stopped to fish out his own in-reach device. He pried off the case and removed the battery. Pausing, he held the 2 parts as if testing their weight, and then he slid them both gently into the water. For a moment, they seemed to hang suspended on the surface, and then they slowly sank, until, through the clear water, he saw his only contact with the outside world disappear. He stood up and took one last long look out over the eddy. From this shore, the body was completely invisible, as he knew it would also be from the air. Annie Pryor's final resting place in this empty landscape was now a secret known only to him. Out beyond the body, the foaming white waters of the river continued to race past the eddy. It may have been the Category 6 rapids that had claimed Annie's life, but it was the 2 men who had pursued her who bore the blame. They had come looking for her, tracking her through this uncharted wilderness until her only way out was to plunge a flimsy canoe into the deadly waters of the Little Buffalo River. But with Annie Pryor's death, the men would now be turning their sights on another target. They would have already found the campsite, found the 2 backpacks, the 2 coffee cups, the 2 metal food dishes, and the 2 sleeping bags, but only one unrolled. They would have surmised that couples who shared a sleeping bag also shared secrets. They would be wrong. He didn't know what Annie Pryor had been involved in, but these 2 men who had pursued her to the death would think he did.